LinkedIn is great at connecting you with the world's largest professional network. But it can't connect you with motivation on a Monday morning. LinkedIn can help you get insights from your professional community. But it can't give you any insight into why Dave's still talking on mute. And while it can't stop your boss from bringing tuna for lunch, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit LinkedIn.com to learn more.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
And action! Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie films to studio films to high-end TV to documentaries and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to F it up, in a very, very humble opinion. I am Giles Alderson, a writer, director and producer, and I've just about recovered from Cannes. And what we're going to do next week is do a Cannes special, a rundown of what we learned, what things are happening, what's hot, what's not, the mistakes people have made, and what's going to happen moving forward into 2026. So it's a special Business of Film next week with Stephen Follows and some very special guests. So look forward to that. But today, we have an absolutely cracking guest for you. Hopefully you know his name because he's an award-winning director behind one of the most gripping documentaries of the decade, Navalny. But today he is joining us to talk about a massive creative risk and making his fiction feature film debut. Yeah, you're right. It is the brilliant director Daniel Roher. He joined Dom Lenoir, because I wasn't available, to chat about his brand new crime thriller, Tuna. You've probably seen the trailers around. It is releasing today in cinemas, and it boasts a stellar cast including Leo Woodall, the legendary Dustin Hoffman, Havana Rose Liu, and Jean Reno. And Dom gets right into the weeds of how Daniel transitioned from Oscar-winning documentaries to a massive scripted feature. He'd made shorts before, but he hadn't really worked with actors before. He tells you why winning an Oscar at 29 opens doors, but that doesn't stop the constant rejection, and how Bob Dylan plugging in inspired him to take this massive leap. Dom and Daniel also have a brilliant chat about the craft. Daniel sort of explains why he considers sound design to be the most underutilized tool in cinema, which I totally agree with him, because he shared what it's like to work with the Zone of Interest sound designer Johnny Byrne. If you haven't seen the Zone of Interest, sound design is a huge part of it, and it really makes the film even stand out so much more. And what he learned, Daniel learned about directing actors for the very first time. Spoiler alert, when he got Dustin Hoffman, who improvises absolutely everything, you just kind of have to roll with it. You'll find out more on the episode. Also, some exciting news before we get to the episode. We're going to be doing a new networking event. We haven't done one since Make Your Film events, but we thought we'd start supporting indie filmmakers out there now and do a bit of a networking event when they're doing their cinema runs. As I said to you before, it's so important if you're doing a four-walling cinema run to make it an event cinema, make it something exciting. So what we thought we'd do is help them out a little bit and do a networking evening, have the screening of a film called Voidance. It's Mariana Dean's Avoidance. Have a director Q&A, and then do networking afterwards at the bar. It's going to be at Genesis Cinema, Tuesday the 19th of June, so lock that into your calendars now. Write it in your diaries now. Tickets are going to be on sale, but I'm sure we're going to give a few away. But write it in your diaries. It's going to be a really fun networking event at Genesis Cinema in London. That's in Bethnal Green on the 19th of June. That's our first Filmmakers Podcast networking since COVID. So we're just easing ourselves in, and it'll be a screening as well. So how exciting. Learn how they made that film, Voidance. Also, Phil Hawkins, the wonderful Phil Hawkins, has just set up his brand new company called sizzlemaker.io. I love this as a platform. Now, we're talking about AI next week as well in our sort of Cannes wrap-up special and what is happening with AI. But one really useful thing is the fact that it's a powerful tool for you. And if you need to make a pitch reel or a deck, it's very difficult to find the right images. So what Phil's done is he's created a sizzle reel. He's making you a trailer for your project to really help it get noticed. Go to sizzlemaker.io, link is in the show notes, should you really struggle to remember that. And you can there see some of the trailers that Phil has already made. He made one for his film, Robin and the Hoods. Starlight is amazing, and Spider Island is fantastic. It's so hard to describe these films sometimes to investors, to producers, to stars that you're trying to get on board. And I think this is a fantastic way to get your films really seen. We can all think what we like about AI. We can all think of the disappointments, the issues that are coming with that for filmmakers. However, we have to use it as a tool, and if we can use it to the best of our ability, then we should. And with this, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a real way forward. I struggle so much making my sizzle reels, trying to find footage from various films, trying to rip it from YouTube, etc., etc. It's really tricky. I think this is a great way forward. I'm very excited to use it for one of my films coming up. Sizzlemaker.io. Have a look. See what you think. Let us know. Really excited by that. Let's get to today's chat with Dom Lenoir and Daniel Roher. It's remarkably candid conversation about craft, resilience, and what it really means to make movies, complete with a microphone check and a rogue banana instant. So grab your brew, get your notebooks out, get your pianos ready to be tuned, and please welcome to the show, Daniel Roher.
There's a mobile kit here, no worries.
Yeah.
Tom.
Good to see you. I think once I'm sat down, I'll be sort
You
of...
got the Zoom? Is that the Zoom?
Yes.
We're in there?
H6N, I think.
Oh, boy.
Right, once I get the mics. Okay.
Oh, you got the 4XLR input things here.
Yes. So I
So
think we're pretty good.
what is your podcast called?
The podcast is the Filmmakers Podcast.
Cool. Who else did you get this week?
We did Noah Baumbach.
How was Noah? Was he a nice guy?
He was very nice. Yeah, he was very friendly.
Okay.
And
We're going? Are we on? I'm holding
yeah. I mean, this is all part of the conversation. We love talking filmmaking.
You got Noah. That's a cool one. I want to know who else you talked to.
That's the first one in the last week, and then we've been doing some independent films, and we've got some other Black Bear pictures, and coming up, Train Dreams, I think, is one of them.
Train Dreams is a fucking devastating movie.
Yeah.
That film is like, hit me right in the gut, that one.
Yeah, and I managed to see that and your movie in Toronto.
Oh, cool.
At the film festival,
Great.
which was fantastic.
Thanks for coming.
And I mean, thanks for giving me that experience. A friend kindly sort of gave me the ticket last year and last minute, and it happened to be the premiere.
That is so fun.
So I had no idea what I was going to.
It was a great screening. That was a really special screening. I'm glad you were in the room for that. That's so cool. Cool.
So how was that for you? Like, I mean, TIFF, it's a brilliant festival. How was it for you to sort of be in that crowd?
TIFF is so special because I'm from Toronto. So TIFF is like my hometown. Like when I was a kid, I would like go to TIFF films, and that was like, my little gateway to Hollywood, big movies, movie stars, directors, my heroes. I remember meeting Guillermo del Toro when I was like 13, 14 at the Bell Lightbox, and like that was so special and meaningful and cool. And that's because Toronto's a great film city, and we have the International Film Festival. When I was 26 years old, I made a documentary that was the opening night film of the festival, and that
must have been very exciting.
Like the biggest. I have peaked. This is the biggest thing I'll ever do. Like I don't know what I'm going to do after this, and then I found that I had not peaked. Evidently, other cool things manifested, but that's how it felt for me because TIFF was just everything. It was a big deal. So coming back to Toronto with my first fiction film, with Dustin Hoffman, with Leo, with Havana, Tova, Lior, like the whole gang was there. That was really special. it's like a celebration with your family. My mom and dad, and all my family and so many friends came to the screening.
Yeah.
And it's just like a lot of fun hoopla. They dress you up and they put you in a car, and they make you feel like you're like a big dill pickle for an afternoon.
You are a big dill pickle. I mean, in that moment.
Sure.
I mean, I sort of, for me, that's always my favorite bit, whether I'm an audience or as a filmmaker, is when you're sitting in the audience and you're experiencing your film in maybe a sort of premiere status, or you can see how much people are engaging in it, and to get that electric excitement and that feeling of like, okay, I'm part of this. This is this has all been worth it. I mean, how is that for you? Because for me, that's the pinnacle of
it's wild. It's a really special experience. And this one was extra scary because it was like I had found success making documentaries. The world liked me doing that. It was like, keep doing that. You're so good at it. And it was sort of me. This was me being like, hey, I have this other thing I'm interested in, and I think I can do it. And one of my favorite films from last year was A Complete Unknown.
Oh, that was my joint top movie.
That was one of my joint top movies. And I'm a big Bob Dylan fan. And, seeing on screen someone for whom the world was like, hey, we love your folk music. Just keep doing that. And Bob being like, actually, I'm going to plug in and do rock and roll now. And they're like, we don't like that. We like the folk music. But the conviction of an artist to be like, nope, I want to be outside of my comfort zone. I want to do this other thing. And that, that's an inspiring thing for me, because it's like the world liked me doing documentaries, but I really felt like I had this other thing to offer that I was really interested in. I came to documentary through fiction films.
Okay.
And my heroes growing up were like the Coen brothers and Steven Soderbergh and Linklater and Guillermo del Toro, guys like this. And so the chance to do a fiction movie was really cool and really exciting and really scary and all the things. And so when you getting your movie made is a fucking miracle.
Yep.
Just being in a position where you can go do the film is incredible. And then like your film turning out good is another miracle.
Even better.
It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then like sitting in a room with, we premiered it at Telluride, and then it was in Toronto, so with a couple hundred people, and it's like, oh, the jokes are landing, and like you can feel the tension, and like that part's working, that thing's working. Like that is it's nerve-wracking, it's scary, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
And Telluride specifically, the very first world premiere of the movie, it's one of these moments in your life where it's like, okay, if the next 2 hours goes well, then my life will go this way.
Yeah.
And if the next 2 hours go really badly, then my life goes that way. And that way's fine.
Yeah.
You're still here.
You have to see all variants of what it could be.
Yeah, the world exists in multitudes. We know this. If it goes that way and not this way, you'll cope with that, and you'll keep on keeping on, because that's what we do. But you really want it to go that way. And this one went that way.
It definitely did, yeah.
And that to me was more than anything a great relief, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk a little bit about, you said the getting the made part, but that's not the easy part. I mean, Black Bear are a massive company. They're very prestigious.
Yeah.
You've already said you're a documentary filmmaker with a big back catalogue of great documentaries, but this is a first fiction film, and I feel like a lot of filmmakers, whenever they jump outside of their their mini mold of what everyone assumes that they do, it's a big challenge. So what was your process in terms of like convincing Black Bear, in terms of getting producers on board, in terms of getting your amazing cast, Leo and Dustin and all the other brilliant actors?
All great questions. The first thing I'll say for your listeners, and this is, I say this with great humility, and I only say this because I want to be like, let people know that this is a really hard thing to do, and the reason why I was able to sort of go for it, I think, and the reality of it, and what the sort of deck of cards that I was dealt, that I was playing with, is the fact that I had just won an Oscar.
I mean, that helps. Yeah.
Right. And so for like people listening who are like, wow, you just like walked your movie into like a big financier, and they paid for your I had done this documentary called Navalny.
Yeah.
It won the BAFTA. It won the Oscar. A lot of people saw it. It was like an important film that a lot of like movie people really liked, and And more than that, is it sort of felt like you're watching a Bond movie or Jason, like it had a sort of propulsive moviness to it.
Yeah, which I think documentaries are these days. They're moving it slightly more into that territory of like slightly more dramatizing, quicker pace, more production values, those kinds of things.
Perhaps
in a sense.
Yeah. But this one, really had sort of like a razzle matazz to it. Let's say,
got it.
And so that really helped. And so when it came time to be like, hey, the guy who did Navalny has a screenplay.
Okay.
People are then like, oh, interesting. I like that. I like that movie. Let's see what that's like. So just getting people to read your thing.
Well, that's definitely the sort of start point. And that's fantastic. Because I mean, I guess in the past we've sort of come across cases of people that have won Oscar shorts, and it hasn't helped them that much, or it's felt like that it's been a long time from them going to shorts to features. But this sounds like it's been a really positive sort of move for you. And
winning an Oscar was positive.
Yeah.
Winning an Academy Award.
It's not negative, is it?
And a BAFTA was certainly a positive.
Yeah.
But I want to speak to that experience too, because people hear that and they're like, oh my God, that's crazy. But to your point, that is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
That is a blessing and a curse. I won an Oscar when I was 29.
Wow.
That's a really fucking cool thing to have happen. It's also terrifying.
Yeah.
Because you're left with this question of like, what the fuck do you do now? And the world is looking at you being like, wow, you just made this crazy movie. Like, can't wait to see what's next. How are you going to top that?
Yeah.
and sort of dealing with the anxiety of that.
Yeah.
And the stress of that. And the pressure of following up this movie, which is really lightning in a bottle, right time, right place filmmaking. I sort of, the way that I chose to cope with the pressure of that was by sort of saying to myself, you know how I'm going to deal with this is by doing something completely different. I put the hardware, let's say, all the fancy awards in a box, and I sent them to my mom and dad. And I'm like, you guys, these are for you.
That's great.
So I don't have to have the stress of looking at being reminded of the pressure, looming over me every day.
Yeah.
And instead I could just get back to my desk and keep working.
Focus on what's actionable.
Focus on both what's actionable and what makes me happy. Winning awards is a lovely thing to have happen. I used to dream as a kid about, wow, wouldn't that be amazing to win an Oscar and be on that stage? Not thinking that it was something that was tangible, but just a crazy dream that you have. And then it happens and you're like, wow, this is really great and this is crazy. But what it really brings into focus is, why am I doing this? What do I love about making movies? And what I love more than anything is the making of the movies part. Like, it's a journey, not a destination thing.
Yeah.
And so you just make stuff and hope that the world likes it. And sometimes the world's like, this is great, we love it. And sometimes the world's like, nah, not this one. And so, I just sort of like refocus and, don't rest on your laurels. Don't let the grass grow under your feet. And I just chose to like kind of ignore it, get back to work, and understand that this is a very powerful thing, being an Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
And the prize that comes with it is, yes, a cool statue that you can give to your mom and dad, but it's also doors open. Yeah. And windows open. So you can climb through the window, you can go through the door, whatever you want to do. But you have opportunity. And it's just a question of, what do you want to do with that? Yeah. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I sort of like the fact that when people talk about dreams, sometimes it goes a bit woolly, but there is something in being able to see yourself winning an Oscar or in a screening room in the future. Like, this is where I want to be going. Like, it can't necessarily be the motivator for like, I want to make films so I win an Oscar, but it's great to not find that alien. I think that should always be where your end point is.
That's a nice way to put it. I mean, for me, like, the idea of the sort of fancy part of my vocation, the glamorous part of my vocation, what people sort of think about when they think of being a filmmaker or being a successful filmmaker, whatever. It's that's certainly part of it. And when I have a premiere and we're at TIFF and I'm wearing fancy clothes like I spoke to earlier, that's it's like kind of, for me, playing like dress up and make believe, except it's real, and it's kind of like I'm on safari for the day, being like, wow, this is crazy, like this is fun. But I'm at a point in my life now where like I'm a dad now, I have a family. And so like I'm like, this is great, but it's not what's really important.
No.
What's really cool and what I really treasure and value is getting to wake up every day and like go into my like little shack in the backyard beneath my banana trees.
Yeah.
And like work on my screenplay or
Yeah.
edit my documentary
That's
or like, you know, I'm storyboarding my next film, whatever it may be. If it's a creative pursuit that I'm passionate about, then that's my happy place. And that's what I really treasure. And then whatever hoopla that manifests because of it is like, that's cool.
It's a nice, you're right. It's a nice, it's a like nice icing on the cake, but the cake has got to be built on meaningful storytelling and creative fulfillment.
The cake is the work.
Yeah.
The cake is the fucking work.
Yeah.
And if you can get up and like you are empowered in your life to get to wake up and go work on your cool creative projects that you love and are passionate about, everything else that comes is icing. And I really try and think about that. And if there are filmmakers out there who are like, you know, this sort of goes without saying, but who are like, oh, I'm doing this for the luxury or for the glamour or like to win an Oscar, it's like you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
You have to do this because you fucking love it.
Yeah.
You have to do this presuming no one will see your movies.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get into a film festival. You'll like you just have to do it because you love it. And like if you work really hard and you keep hauling ass, and if you just I dealt with the rejection. How many times I got fucking rejected from Sundance, and you just keep on keeping. I didn't get into film school. You just keep on keeping on. And then eventually something clicks. But it's hard and can be lonely and alienating.
Yep.
So you really got to love the act of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think the rejections thing is very important because, you know, sometimes if you send to a studio or you send to a producer or a big actor or something, and you get like 3 or 5 or even 10 no's, that can be very demoralizing. And I think a lot of people in that situation are like, well, why do I keep going? Or
totally.
And
it is demoralizing. And I want to be very clear that like even at this point in my career in life where I have accolades and success and it's really great and I still get rejected.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger scale of rejection.
Yeah.
You know, to have one of the biggest film producers, I'm up for a job, let's say, one of the biggest film producers in the world is like, no, not you.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Like this guy was like, I only make extraordinary films.
Wow.
And I just don't see it with this guy. Like that is a kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
Big time. And it's
but then that for me that would like be like, okay, well, I'm going to make an extraordinary film.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like, okay, well, you know, first off, that's your opinion and prerogative, and like you are who you are, and I respect that. Also, fuck you. And those things exist simultaneously.
Yeah.
And be like, and you know, that's a badge of honor to get kicked in the nuts by some big dog who's like a really famous, successful guy is like, fine. This is a question of like, you take a day to like lick your wounds, and then you get back to your desk and you get back to work.
Yeah.
And you just keep going.
I like that a lot, and I've started to try and do that in terms of like whether it's a big rejection or something like awful that happens in terms of like really stupid. But I was on the tube the other day, and like there was a banana in the bag for my podcast. It exploded. I was covered in like white trousers. Disaster.
But banana.
I just tried to laugh. Yeah, banana. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, but there's so many of those situations where you could either be really beaten down or you could just sort of try and find some comedy or a lesson in it.
Absolutely. And look, I want to be very clear that like when life kicks you in the nuts, feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Take the time to like sit and be comfortable with the shit sandwich you're being offered and how that feels, whether it's professional rejection or whatever.
Yeah.
But like eventually you got to like pick yourself up. And like get back to it, and that's just the key. And those who can endure the most kick in the nuts, will. And I don't mean to genderize it by saying kicked in the nuts. I just happen to get kicked in the nuts, proverbially.
Yeah, metaphorical nuts.
The metaphorical nuts. those are the people who will do it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who get kicked in the metaphorical nuts and they'll be like, fuck that, I'm out.
Yeah.
And that's fine too.
Yeah.
If you're like, I can't stomach this. This is too much for me. Then it's like, that's also fine.
Yeah.
This, but like for the people who are like, if I don't do this, I'm going to die.
Yes.
Then it's like, you gotta, is that?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. That all rings very true. And I love talking sort of mindset stuff as well, because I think that's what filmmakers, like a lot of us, need ways of coping with this stuff. Let's get on to the actual script.
Sure.
And, two things I want to cover before we get to the end of the podcast is, first of all, like
Do I get my own podcast? Is this its own episode?
Yeah. Your own episode,
cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So two things I want to talk about is, first of all, like let's go into the script and then we'll go into the performances.
Sure.
So the script, I mean, auditory-wise,
yeah,
it's a spectacular use of sound.
Thank you.
And I'd say, like, let's go into sound and crafting the script and the story, because it flips from one genre into another. I think that's sort of fair to say. It sort of starts as a really nice character drama, and then it becomes like a character heist almost.
Do you think that worked?
Yeah, it was seamless. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Which is tough to do.
It's really hard.
It is tough to do. So let's talk about how you built the tone and the mood and that sort of transition.
So also maybe I talk about sound and then do tone and mood.
Yeah,
is that
sure.
okay?
Yeah.
So the first thing is my personal thing with this is that like I believe sound to be like an incredibly underutilized part of the director's cinematic toolkit, let's say.
Yeah.
And you spend weeks with your DP like planning your shot lists and storyboarding and being like, it's going to start here, we're going to come over here, we're going to be on the 85, or we're going to do whatever it is. You plan the visuals so much. No one sits with the sound designer.
No.
In pre-production are like, this is how this should sound, this is how that should sound. And I'm like, there's so much production value and world building that you can build from sound, which is sort of what inspired A Character with a Hearing Condition, which harkens back to some of my favorite sound movies. The Conversation is an amazing sound movie. It's Coppola's film. Blowout, De Palma's Blowout, an amazing sound movie, through to like a film like the Sound of Metal, which is visceral and real, films like that. And so I wrote the sound design into the screenplay to really try and make it immersive and visceral. And then we needed to get a sound designer who was like the best sound designer in the world. So we got Johnny Byrne, who is the best sound designer in the world. And Johnny Byrne had just done The Zone of Interest, which is like, I don't know if you remember the fucking sound in that movie.
Yeah, I do.
That the sound of that film, it like lives in my bones. I still feel it.
I can hear some of the corridor footsteps.
I can. It's like a remarkable work. And so when he read the script and he liked it and he realized it was a sound film, his perspective.
It's like the most sound film, I would say. I think it's the most sound film I've ever sounded.
It's a very sound film. And so he, for a guy like Johnny Byrne, it's like if you did a costume drama for a costume designer, it's like, oh my God, this is my time to shine. And thankfully Johnny, he's just so generous and so wonderful. And, working with him was really cool. And that's how the sort of sound design came together. But it's funny because for 2 years, I'm like, and then like the sound's going to be like this and it'll sound like that. And we'll kind of be in his head. And you're just sort of like describing the sound to people. And then you have your rough cut of the movie and the sound's not done. So it's just kind of like sketched in rough. And you're asking people to sort of imagine what it can be. And then after 2 years, the last week of making your movie, you're sitting with Johnny Byrne, the sound designer, and I'm Dr. Frankenstein. The movie is the monster, which is sitting on the table. And then Johnny Byrne is the bolt of lightning that like brings it together, and the movie sits up and it's alive and it comes to life. Yeah. And this thing that's been in my head for 2 years, it's now there and I can see it. So that was the sound design. And then what was the second part?
Tone and mood.
Tone, mood.
Yeah. And genre shift.
Genre shifting, tone, mood. Okay, so shifting of the genres, the tone and mood is really hard to do.
Yeah.
And what I really tried to think about are like, what are the elements that are going to adhere this? They're going to bring it together to make the heist and the family stuff and the romance all work. And what I kind of leaned on as like the continuous thread to make it feel like one piece and not like incoherent bits that are smashed together is humor.
Right.
And so when you have the family stuff with Dustin, you get yucks out of that. People laugh at that.
We had some good humor in the Q&A as well at TIFF.
Yeah, that was. Were you you were at the one when
I was the one where he's like, my wife told me I should wear my hearing aids.
He got emotional.
Which is a nice sort of ironic meta to
that was very sweet. But you have humor in him.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that the love story, like their meet cute at the beginning when they do the little music theory test, I think that that gets a laugh. And then I tried to design bad guys, your baddies that are funny.
Yeah.
That's like they're bad, but you like spending time with them. And you get yucks out of that too. So I think the humor plays a really important part in crafting the tone. Yeah. But there's a scene in the middle of the movie that was the hardest scene of the film. When they're in this road. Remember the fish tank?
Yeah.
Part of the movie?
Oh, yeah. And then it flips.
So that was the hardest scene of the movie because that was the turning point.
Yeah.
That's like we're now transitioning from like sort of family movie with a love story to like, okay, now like the guns are coming out and it gets dark, and that was a tough scene to craft.
Yeah, and I suppose to me it sort of feels almost like, the sort of not quite the call to action, but it's like that kind of flip. Something major happens that's a difference between he's dabbling on the idea of crime, and he's like working with these people, and it's sort of charming and fun, and then suddenly it's like, okay, the stakes are suddenly like he's not going to go back to that world anymore of just being someone that's happily breaking into safes.
Well, that's just it. It's like it's people. People like, don't read the criticism of your movie. Don't go on Letterboxd.
No.
But I'm like, I can't. Are you kidding me? Like, I gotta know what the people think. So I always go through the comments, and like one of the sort of criticisms of this movie is like, oh, it's so predictable. It's like the plotting is like hits every single beat, and the way I frame that's such an interesting like note for me to get, because the way I perceive it in my own mind is like it's kind of a genre piece.
Yeah,
and like a crime film is a genre, and there are kind of like tropes of a genre that make it of a genre.
Yeah.
And so when I hear people being like that sort of criticism, which I think is fair enough, that's valid, I'm kind of like, oh, but that's just like what it is.
Yeah.
You want it to be something else, but this is what it is. And so I find that to be very, very interesting. But what I just tried to like take the feeling, the romance, the intensity of some of my favorite movies and process it through my worldview and kind of make it my own thing.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a problem with something having certain genre elements that people, even if they could predict it, because I think what makes the difference is something feeling original and giving you an experience you haven't had before. And I thought the audio side of that certainly ticked that box.
Sure, thank you.
And the fact that they're really interesting, well-defined, conflicted sort of characters kept the other bit. So I think, as you said, the comedy and that grounding in who they are as people and their acting and the interesting sort of sound design, that kept me thoroughly engaged, and I was quite happy to go along.
Thank you. I'm glad. I look, I just wanted to make a movie.
Yeah.
I think about my documentary work, like a film like Navalny, and it's really intense, and it's about a very intense political topic and subject that exists in a very intense world where you open the New York Times and we're looking at, how many people were killed in Gaza, or what's going on in Ukraine, or Darfur, or this and that. And, it's a fucking dark place, and it can be scary to be alive, and AI is taking over, and climate change, and all of these things that are just scary.
Yeah.
And as I think about my fiction work, if I can make something by which the result is someone sitting there and watching it, and then after they've watched it, after they came home from their shitty job or whatever, and they're going to pop on a movie or go to the movies, and they finish the film, and it's like, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
To me, that matters.
It does matter. And that's the biggest gift, I think, of making films, is to be able to give that gift to someone, is to like hit them in the emotion. And I mean, like that, for me, that moment was when Leo, sorry, spoilers if anyone hasn't watched it yet. They should have watched it if you're listening to the podcast. But he plays the piano at the end, and he's never played it throughout the piece, and it just blows everyone away. And sometimes those tropes that it's not a trope, but it's something that you kind of you've built into the story that you want to see, and then when it happens, it's brilliant. I'm
so glad you feel that way, and I'm glad that landed.
It definitely landed.
But I put a lot of emphasis on how do I call it, landing the plane.
Yeah.
I'm watching a movie and I'm like, how the fuck are they going to land the plane?
Yeah, there we go.
And when you see a movie that lands the plane beautifully, it's like,
yes.
it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
First 5 minutes, last 5 minutes, really,
Definitely.
really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And I just put a lot of emphasis on
Great.
Cultivating that feeling of like, that was a nice bow on this movie.
Yeah. So let's just, before we sort of get towards the end of the conversation, let's talk about Dustin and Leo. I mean Leo, that's definitely like the most like lead, brilliant, captivating performance I've seen from him.
Yeah.
And obviously Dustin sort of has such a wealth of experience to sort of bring into bring into the mix. So let's talk about maybe Leo first, and then we'll sort of get on to what Dustin has brought with his years of cinema experience, and how you maybe discussed with them and built their performance. And
well, Leo's just such a phenomenal actor. He's such a talented guy. He's such a lovely human being, and he was such a grounding force for me. And there were enough times on set where I was so stressed and anxious and freaking out about something, and Leo would be like, "Dude, fucking relax. Like, it's gonna be fine."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Thank you for saying that. You're probably right. I hope you're right." But he's just, we became really close on that movie, and I love him to bits, and he's gonna be one of the greats, and I can't wait till we make our next movie together. And then speaking of one of the greats, he's working with like one of the finest actors of films, of movie, of cinema of the 20th century. And Dustin is a giant, but he's so lovely. He's just the best guy. He loves making movies. He's the type of guy who goes from being, Mr. Hoffman to Dusty in no time. And that was him. He doesn't like learning lines. He can't learn lines anymore. He just improvs everything. And
nice, yeah.
So we had to just go along with that and let him do his thing. And I'm so getting to work with him. That's a direct connection to Laurence Olivier and Mike Nichols and some of my heroes. And so it's so special. Just it
sounds like before we've even got onto the professional, both of these actors have brought a wealth of warmth to the set in terms of like you being able, because we often talk about being able to give actors the safety and the security to do a good performance, but also as a director, if we're stuck in this like high pressure situation, and you've got someone of that stature who's like the one that everyone's looking to, and they're calming you down, or not calming down, but bringing nice things to set or a nice atmosphere, or it's
so important. Like how we make things are just as important as what we make. I firmly believe that.
Yeah,
I think a lot about the experience of making something.
Yeah,
and I have not been in a position, thankfully, at this point where I've had to work with an actor who's just like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Some fucking prick who's just like, I'm getting paid $10 million to be here. Like I'm in charge.
Get out of my way.
Yeah. That would be a very difficult experience for me.
Yeah.
Because my base reaction would be like, get fucked. Like go fuck yourself. Like who do you think you are? And so I got really lucky that I got like the sweetest, nicest, most. It felt like it's a very family atmosphere. That's how I like to cultivate my sets. It's like I'm a very family oriented person. And Lior he's like the loveliest guy. He played Uri in the movie. Lior Raz, the great Israeli actor. Tova Feldgen, who played Marla, is just like Bubby, Jewish grandmother to the world. Havana, we haven't even spoken about Havana.
I know,
but Havana is like, I've never met someone who's so hardworking, who's so dedicated, who's so committed, and she like was the character, and
let's not gloss over that relationship because it is a very big part of the movie. I think it's just because because of the audio mechanism, it's such an exciting thing to talk about.
Sure,
but sometimes I always think this as well, like. The supporting characters that are in the central relationships are every bit as important as the leads. And the movie, it's a two-way street, acting and scenes, and you cannot have a good movie with just one lead character anyway. So they do need. You're right. Let's give a shout
Havana,
out.
I mean, it's like Havana's. She's gonna have a humongous career. She's so wonderful in this film.
Yeah,
and patient. Everyone was patient with me. I got on set and I was like, I'm the least experienced person here.
Yeah.
I've never directed an actor before. I was scared of the actors. I was like, I was like, should I be honest and be like, hey guys, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I've never worked with actors before. Do I pretend I know what I'm doing? And
never do that.
I kind of,
I mean, sort of within reason. Yeah.
I netted out somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, you know what? I have the least experience making a movie of anyone in this room.
Yeah.
But I have the most experience at making this specific movie.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's like a nice little thing in that
Yeah.
that was empowering and the confidence boost that like there was the chutzpah that got me through the thing.
Yeah, I suppose it's leaning on what you do know to show that you're experienced and competent and you're not an idiot.
Because
but also not being afraid to ask for help if you need
that's
it.
exactly right. Like you want everyone to respect you.
Yeah.
You want everyone to be like, okay, there is a captain of the ship and this is not a rudderless thing.
Yeah.
But you also want to have the humility to be like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is this? What is your job? What do you do? What is this thing here?
Yeah.
Learning as you go. And certainly with the actors, it's a sort of esoteric, strange, interesting, weird thing that they do that I don't fully understand, that I have a tremendous admiration, respect, and reverence for.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to give them all the space and time to do their thing. And I didn't have to do too much. I realized pretty quickly that like directing is casting.
Yeah.
And if you cast the movie right, I don't have to say anything to the actors.
Yeah.
The last note I'll share, this is a Leo story, but the story that sums up Leo, we'll just do this one really quickly, is I was on set with Leo and I had an idea or a note that I wanted to give him. So I was walking towards him after we said cut. He saw me coming. He goes, I know. And he waved me off and I turned around and I went back and he did it. And
that's what you want, is it?
That's what you
want.
Wavelength. You don't want to have to talk to your actor. You just want your actors to do their thing, empower them.
Yeah.
They're like the department heads of the character.
Yeah.
And you know, when you have like Leo and Havana and Dustin and Jean Reno and Lior and Tova, it works. It worked out.
Congratulations on the movie.
Thank you so much.
And so much brilliant advice.
Did I do a good job on this podcast?
You did a great job.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I wouldn't lie to you. I would, yeah.
Okay.
I'd say, yeah, it was fine. It was great. It was really great.
So does this come out after the movie comes out?
We'll time it to the release. Yeah, we'll sort of time it to the release.
Great.
So, there we go.
Great.
Okay, thank you, Daniel.
Wow, there we go. That was our chat with director Daniel Roher, Oscar winner at 29. And it's so interesting to see how he still struggles. Let's come on to that in a second. Tuna is out now in cinemas. Go watch it. Go support. Massive thank you for Daniel coming on and being so incredibly candid. There was one thing he said there that I really want you to take away from this episode, and that's his honesty about rejection. Because when you're in the trenches of indie filmmaking, when you're waiting on those sort of festival selection emails or submitting to funding bodies, which we all do, and we submit and we wait and nothing much happens, or just trying to get a producer to actually read your script, it's easy to put people like Daniel on a pedestal because he's won an Oscar. He's made things. It's easy for him. It's a guy with an Academy Award and a BAFTA. And you think, well, he's made it. He has never had to hustle again. He'll never have to hustle again. Well, the doors just magically open. Well, Daniel has just completely shattered that myth for us. Hearing sort of from this Oscar-winning director and him admitting that he still gets brutally rejected, that he still has to fight to get his screenplays read, and the producers still turn him down with lines like, we only ever make extraordinary films. And that is that exact reality check we all need. It proves the hustle, ladies and gentlemen, boys and superstars, that it never actually stops. The stakes just get higher. But the game is exactly the same. So getting told no doesn't mean you're a bad filmmaker. It doesn't mean your project is dead. It just means you're in the arena, right? If you're getting rejected, it means you're actually putting the work out there. And the secret isn't finding some magical level of success where you finally avoid the kick in the teeth. The secret, as Daniel said, is feeling it. Take a day, have a cup of tea, lick your wounds, and then get straight back to the desk the next morning. You have to do this. If an Academy Award-winning Oscar winner still has to graft to get his next movie made, then we absolutely have no excuse not to keep pushing our own projects forward. Whatever you're working on this week, whether you're writing, editing, trying to raise cash, keep going. Keep going. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to send the piano back down in tune for those of us below so we can play it. Oh, I miss playing the piano. I started again when I was in Bulgaria. They had a couple of pianos there at the studio. So I sat and played. Oh, I can pick it up again. But since I've been back, there isn't a piano for me to play. It's very sad. Someone play me a sad tune now on the piano. Thank you. Thank you for listening, you wonderful filmmakers. If you took something valuable away from today's masterclass, do us a huge favour and give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, all that. It genuinely helps us to grow the show and keep bringing you these amazing guests, right? So next week, as I've said, is going to be our Cannes special. What we learned from the Cannes Film Festival, what films are hot right now, what worked, what didn't, what sold, what didn't, what you can look forward to in 2026. We'll be touching on AI as well, how the industry is changing, what it means to you. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. We will see you then. Keep writing, keep shooting, keep dreams alive, and we'll see you next Tuesday. I'm Giles Alderson. Bye for now.